Welcome back to the Outhouse Outdoors. Today, we have something special planned for you. First of all, I'd like to welcome my special guest, the one and only NSS Outdoors, also known as Alex Romero.
Yeah.
He's going to be here with me today because we are doing wild game ranking. So this list is compiled of all the wild game that me and Alex have both ate. Alex, his taste of wild game is his scale is a little iffy. Let's just say.
I'll try and be very fair for today's video, but generally speaking, I'm kind of the belief that most game animals can be made to taste somewhat good, but this is going to be more on a spectrum, and I'll be a lot more fair. Like, not everything is going to be S tier for me today. It's a lot easier to make a deer tenderloin taste good as opposed to
a goose.
Like a goose, exactly.
So,
even though goose can be made to taste good, but goose is still obviously gonna have to rank lower than deer. But that's kind of the mentality that I'm going into this with.
Okay, so we're gonna get cut to the action right now. Pause, pull up the screen or whatever. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start off by showing you our rankings for what each category is. So we'll start at the bottom. So catfish bait.
Terrible.
It's terrible. This is stuff that, you might not want to kill. You might want to
probably just let it walk.
Let it walk, yeah.
You don't really want that in your stomach, and if you are killing it, it's probably so that you can turn it into good catfish meat.
Or like coyote bait or something.
Or, something like that.
Give to your dog is the next one. This is stuff that, it's a little bit better, but still probably don't want to be
eating. You'd rather your dog eat it than you eat it.
Yeah.
Slip it under the table.
Yeah. Give to your neighbor. This is a good holiday seasonal gift. Here's some jerky out of an animal I don't want to eat.
I'm trying to make a nice gesture, but I also don't want to give you anything that I actually care about.
Yeah. So that's the one you want to give to your neighbor. Mm-hmm. It will make poop. This is bottom line. So it's not great. It's not bad.
It'll eat.
It'll make poop. It'll come out you.
Yeah.
Next category. Do not turn to jerky. This is stuff that, it's good. You cook it multiple ways. Just try to avoid turning it into jerky. That's what a lot of people do with wild game. This next category is don't share with your neighbor. Whatever you do, don't. They come over and say, "Oh, I heard you shot this. Oh, maybe no, you're not getting any.
This is too good.
Sorry, Joe. You are not getting any of this.
No.
Then the final one. This is
a joke. Completely, 100% joke. Outhouse Outdoors does not condone poaching.
No, do not do it.
Any circumstances.
But in a theoretical world,
hypothetically,
let's say it's like survival, like it's an apocalypse,
yeah.
And laws are kind of bendable at this point, and you want some good meat. This is the animal you're gonna go out and kill because it's the best. This is stuff you don't even need a season. It could be
top of the line. You're willing to go to great lengths to eat it.
Okay. So now we're going to get to the action of ranking. Okay. First on the list, we got
ruffed grouse.
Ruffed grouse.
All right.
So to be honest with you, I've lived in Minnesota my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Never ate a ruffed grouse.
You've never ate a ruffed grouse?
Never have.
Well, I think I speak for most Minnesotans when I say it is in the upper half for sure. It is.
It's a white meat.
It's a white meat. It's quite comparable to chicken. It's very good, I would say. I would say that's, especially considering how low quantity it is for the quality, I think that this is, I think it's don't share with your neighbor.
You think?
I think it's definitely don't share with your neighbor. In fact, I think there's going to be people who watch this and who argue that it should be top of the line poachable. Huh? Okay. I think it's don't share with your neighbor for sure.
Okay, I'll take your word for
this.
It's very good. But just remember this for your rest of your rankings. This is the line you're setting.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, it's great.
Okay. Bison.
Bison.
Have you had this?
I have had bison.
Okay. Thoughts?
Quite good.
It's quite good?
Quite good.
I wouldn't say it's quite do not share with your neighbor. Because I've had some bison burgers. They can be a little dry and stuff.
Yeah.
I had recently some bison backstrap.
Really?
But I had it with another animal side by side.
Mm.
And the animal will be coming up, and I will tell you when it is. But the other animal I had was better.
Yeah.
I preferred it over. and they're both the same cut. So it's like a cow. It's basically a cow, but a little less fatty. So I'm gonna put this under do not turn to jerky.
I agree with that. I think that's good.
We got teal here. I've had green wing and blue wing. You both?
I've had potentially green wing. I don't know. It was all just thrown in a mixing pot or whatever. So potentially I have eaten green wing, but for sure eaten blue wing. And it's good.
I'd say it's the best duck.
Yeah, of ducks, I'd say that it's about as good as you can
may not get the most meat off of them.
Right. And I don't think it's as good as. Is it as good as rough grouse?
It's your call. I haven't had rough grouse. I think it's the best duck.
It's a very different.
This
kind
is
of
drawing
meat.
the line for duck because anything else has got.
Oh yeah, everything else is definitely lower than this for duck. It might be don't share with your neighbor.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Because it's quite sought after.
I will agree with that. Okay, bullfrog. I will say this right now. The one time I had it was in Florida. Before I say my thoughts, what are your thoughts? Did you have bullfrog?
Yeah. I had a subspecies of bullfrog, which is substantially smaller than the ones you're going to be eating down south, but it meant that I was able to catch it here in Minnesota. So it was not a large quantity of meat, but and what I had, I feel like I almost can't judge it all that fairly. From what I had, it was decent, but just based on the quantity of meat that I consumed, I can't compare it to grouse or teal personally. But if you had more of it, then you probably.
Personally, I thought it was better than chicken. It was super juicy. It tasted no gaminess. The ones we had were from a restaurant, and so I don't know if they were wild, which usually they aren't. But they were big legs, and I mean they were absolutely delicious. I was worried about trying them because it's a frog, but they were phenomenal. So I think do not share with your neighbor. I mean, unless
I can see that. They're from what I've heard and from the little bit of experience I do have, it is a great meat.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do that. Crow. The one time I had crow, you cooked it.
Yep. Sounds right.
Okay.
And what did you think?
I thought it was decent.
It is decent. It's not. It's not like you're gonna go out and shoot crows over ducks.
Yep.
But it isn't terrible. It is. It might make poop.
I think it'll make poop.
I think it'll make poop.
I guess it might depend also where you shoot them from. If you're shooting them
right,
where
I think
a bunch of roadkill is, or a cornfield.
Yeah.
I guess it could be dependent on where you shoot them from. But I could put that under it will make poop.
Yeah. The crow I have had, I will say, soak it in like milk or buttermilk, and it's pretty decent. I think. Definitely not those lower three. I would say it will make poop.
Okay. Elk.
I've had elk on one occasion, and I think the way that I had it prepped for me wasn't the most phenomenal prepping of elk. So the little bit of elk that I've had was honestly not that great. Really. It wasn't phenomenal. It was fine. It was I don't know. It was I can't really judge it all that adequately. Okay. I haven't had enough of it.
So what I'm gonna say is, when I mentioned earlier, I had another animal along with the bison. Elk was it. Elk was better. For some reason, it was just it was better than the bison, and they were both same cut of meat, and I like the elk better. I don't know if I would say it was. God, it's tough to put it not to poachable, because it was, I think, almost better than steak. It was super tender, fresh. I mean, I guess it might depend on what cut you're getting, because we had the best part. Typically, your back straps or tenderloins are going to be your best cut of meat.
For sure.
So, I don't know. I think, because I have one animal that I've had for sure that I put above it, and that I know of. I'm going to put it down here.
Okay.
So
there's going to be people who watch this who are going to be upset that it didn't make top tier.
You know, right now, while you're watching this, I want you guys to go to the comments right now. Tell me if I missed any wild game, or what your favorite wild game is, or put down what the best wild game you've ever had, or the recipe for it. I'm interested to see, because this is off of what I've ate, and I know there's animals farther south that I've never had, that you southern hunters or fishermen, sorry, just wait on that.
That's a future video.
It's a future video. If you look, this video gets how many likes?
I don't know. What are you averaging right now?
I don't know.
100 likes.
100 likes. If this video gets 100 likes, I will do a fishing one right away.
That's probably about right.
But because we have a lot of different fish up here too.
Yeah.
So, please comment down below what your favorite wild game is, or something I should try, or me and Alex should try. But yeah, please do that and like the video right now.
Mm-hmm. We could maybe go out and shoot it.
We could.
We could make a whole video out of it.
So now we're gonna keep moving on. Okay.
Goose.
This is a very this is a big topic. Goose. Where
it's controversial for sure.
I know where I want to put it.
I think most people who are like, top tier goose hunters, very good at the game, they'll usually tell you that they don't hunt it for the flavor. They'll usually say, goose is not the best meat. However, I think it can be prepped. It can be prepped to be good. It's not as good as teal.
Yeah.
I'll say that right off the bat.
I would say it's not even good as a normal duck.
Oh yeah, I would agree. Normal duck can be made to taste better.
And I just recently I cooked goose 3 nights ago, and I know it's always varies whenever you cook it. Like sometimes I cook it, it's really good, and other time questionable. And the jerky I've had of goose. A lot of people do is make goose jerky. I did not like. I'm being honest. It's always just it's got the goosiness, whatever you want to call it.
I would say overall for me, goose.
I want to put it to give it to.
I'd say give it to your neighbor. I'd say on average, goose is give it to your neighbor. Hey. There was one time I had goose and it was extremely good.
Was this at the house?
That was with at some of our friends' house, and a friend of ours who was very good at making waterfowl chefed up some goose, and it was the best goose I've ever had. It was very good.
I've with goose, I usually try to cover up. Mm-hmm. I put in pasta. Some of the best grilled goose I had was your roommate. Shout out to Jacoba.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at chefing up birds. We'll say that. Mm-hmm. He's good on the grill and he knows how to spice them up. So that was good. Stuff
Soren
I cooked in the garden.
Soren's great.
I had Soren's yet, but
Soren's great.
It's hit and miss. That's all I can say. And you have to really try to cover up that taste.
I'm already seeing something quite controversial, which is that crow is above goose.
Yeah,
are we happy with that?
I'm okay with that. The one crow I had was better than goose, and that was the one you cooked. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I would say for sure on average, it is that.
It's pretty close. It might be close. You might be able to switch them. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I guess dependent on what you eat.
That one time I had really really good goose. It was better than crow. It was probably better than the vast majority of wild game I've had. But
the other times,
on average, just overall goose is probably give it to your neighbor. Coot.
Moving on. Now we're on coot. Opinions. I've never had a coot.
So, coot is widely regarded as being catfish bait. It's usually it's usually said that not a good meat. You don't want to eat it. It's bad.
I've heard of a lot of hunters just ending up shooting them for fun and becoming ditch food for coyotes.
Yeah.
I've only ever shot one coot, and it was because a bald eagle dropped it in my yard, and it was dying and it was suffering, so I killed it because it was just clawed up, and it's the weirdest thing ever. But so that's the only time I've ever killed a coot.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have killed a coot. I don't hunt the water very often. I think so. When I did have coot, some of my friends they killed a whole bunch of them and brought them back to the place, and the way we did it was soaked it in buttermilk and then just pan fried, and it was honestly it was pretty good. I can't lie. It wasn't as good as goose. And you got to remember what coot is usually. It's not usually that good. I would say
give it to your dog.
Coot is probably give it to your dog. I think if anything, like the default for coot is catfish bait, but because of such a good experience I've had with coot, I have to bump it up to give it to your dog.
Now we're on to mergs, and I'm going to throw diving ducks in here.
Yeah, just
All
divers.
those
in
kind
general.
of ducks
the fish
that have
eaters.
yeah. So
Usually, what people say is that they're comparable to coot. In my experience, and this might be a controversial statement, I have not had diver taste better than that coot that I had.
you have it.
Honestly, the diver that I have had was just not great at all. I would probably just rather turn it into catfish bait.
You think catfish bait? No, I can't recall. Like, I don't know if I've ate merganser. Like,
I've had merganser, ringneck
That-
ducks. It was not great.
Okay, well.
It was prepared exactly the same way as the coot was, the ringer, and the ringer was significantly worse.
We'll put on a catfish bait. I probably have had diving duck, but I don't know if I can't recall specifically remember what I ate that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I guess, not fresh in my head. So
yeah, and maybe it does it a little bit of injustice to just say diving ducks, and because there's many species.
Yeah.
Like I think the merg I've had was probably better than the ringer I've had. Maybe that's a crazy statement, but like I said, when I had the coot and the ringer made exactly the same way, the coot was better. So I think I gotta put it in catfish bait.
Yeah, I can accept that. Okay. You know what this is?
Is that a partridge?
It's a partridge without the pear tree. It is the
Without the
holiday
pear tree.
season.
I have not had partridge.
I have,
Seems like it'd be good.
and I will say right now, it is fabulous.
Yeah,
It is so freaking
I
good.
can see that.
I've had it twice now, and like the first time I had it, I was like, okay, that was really good. So I wasn't sure if it was always gonna be like that. That was a few years ago, and this is when we shoot them in North Dakota, and I had one again this year, and still, you can't really beat it. It's so good. I just fried it in a pan, and it's a white meat, just like chicken, super juicy. You can't. I had it with another one at the same time. And when I get to that one, I will put. I want to put this in the poach bowl, but just because I had the other one, it's kind of, it doesn't have a distinct flavor. It just tastes like chicken. Super good. Like you can put it in anything, and probably wouldn't notice. But the other bird I cooked with it at the same time. That's what's gonna keep me from.
So you're gonna talk this up that much and not give it poachable? Could it be that they're both poachable?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put them both in. It could be poachable. Because this is white meat, the other one was red meat, which is interesting. So
I have a feeling I know what that one is. Then.
Okay. We're gonna put that partridge. You can't go wrong. It could be cooked anyway. It's not a lot of meat, but so good, so freaking good. Oopsies.
There's a very famous one.
Very famous, highly talked about. Everyone usually has tried this.
Mm-hmm.
It's in many states.
Yeah.
Many states. The white-tailed deer. You may not see the mule deer up here. I've not had mule deer. I've seen them, but never ate it. So I don't know the difference between whitetail and mule deer. But, Meryl, have you had whitetail?
I've had whitetail. I've had a lot of whitetail over the years. Also, I've never had mule deer. I mean, what can I say? It's great.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
I can't say anything bad about whitetail. I love it. I don't know if I could put it up here, but it's got to be one here or here. It's like we always make ours into breakfast sausage, and I've had venison steaks. I've had
just a nice tenderloin.
Tenderloins. You can't go. Ooh.
Oh man,
that was some of the best meat I've had. But,
right.
What do we think? What was the call? This is gonna be highly debated.
If we put this in poachable, then we're saying it's better than grouse, better than teal. And honestly,
I think I could go with that.
I think that's
we can
for
go
sure
with
the
that.
case. I think that's the case.
For all of you out there who go and shoot a deer, and you take it to a processor without taking the back straps and tenderloins out, you guys are idiots. You can't even debate this in the comments. Everyone else will defend me. You guys are idiots. You will take those back straps out. You take those tenderloins out. You do whatever, but don't grind them. There's no point of grinding them. It's like the best meat there is.
They're phenomenal cuts.
It's like super fresh. It's amazing. You can cook it any way, and it'll never be bad.
Especially the tenderloin. It's like you're field dressing that deer, and the tenderloins are just right.
They're staring at you.
Just go ahead and pull them out.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Please
They're
watch a YouTube video if you don't know how to.
Mm.
Just don't take it to the processor. I hear too many butchers say that people do that, and they just it's It's sad.
unfortunate.
It's sad to think about. Can we just do a moment of silence for the people who do that?
All of the lost tenderloin.
Okay, thank you.
All right, back to the video.
Okay, back to the video. Okay, snow goose.
Snow goose.
This is something I have not had.
Yeah, we were prepping for this video, and we just had goose on there, the same way that we had like diver duck or dabbler duck. I said that snow goose and Canada goose, I think probably have to be separate, because snow goose, in my experience, snow goose is significantly worse.
Okay, I've heard that. I've heard that.
I'm not gonna lie, the snow goose that I have had is probably catfish bait.
Okay,
It was not good at all.
I think there's probably hunters out there that will disagree. There will be
Probably.
probably hunters out
For
there
sure.
that agree.
Yeah, I think that the snow goose I've had is pretty comparable to being as bad as, if not worse, than the bad diver I've had. Yeah, coot was honestly better.
Okay. Mulardos and the other wood ducks we put under this category.
Yeah, like you're generally
Your general
you're
ducks.
dabbling ducks.
Yeah.
Puddles.
So what I'm gonna say right now is, I think teal's still better.
Yep.
Teal is more
I
tender,
agree.
less gamey.
Yeah, that's why we
And
separated. I mean,
that's why we
teal are
separate.
also a dabbler, but
Yeah, but
they have
they're
to be
small duck.
separated.
They're
They're
something
better.
special.
They are better.
So I think for duck, I think I could put that as do not turn to jerky.
Yeah,
I think
I think that's a
the
great
duck I've
great
had
place
is
for it.
good. I haven't really had duck that I've just hated under this category.
You can't
But-
put it on the same level as crow or anything down there, but
No,
it's
but it's
up
right there. It's right up there. So I can't. If you guys have other opinions, please put it down in the comments. But
for sure.
Yeah. Chipmunk.
So chipmunk.
Before I say anything, Romero is the small game expert. He will eat anything little that you can kill with a shotgun or 22.
22s.
So, something.
22s. Not shotgun.
This is something I have not ate because I don't see them having much meat.
They don't. But I mean, we're college students. We're looking for all the calories we can get, and there's so many of them. And sometimes it's just the move that you need to make to eliminate them in general. So I mean, why not go ahead and rip that skin off of there real quick and toss the legs in a pan? I mean, it's fine. It's honestly a fine meat. There's just not a lot of it at all.
It'll make poop.
It'll make poop. I think that's a great place for it.
Yeah.
It's a fine meat. It's nothing special. There's so little of it. You can't love it or hate it all that much.
Okay. Raccoon. This is one I have ate.
Mm-hmm.
I had in the dorms last year.
Yeah.
And it was one you killed.
Yeah.
First, you can.
Today, Junior?
I want you to explain what
So-
you would put it in, and now I'll give you my
Well,
answer.
hang on. I think that the raccoon that we ate last year was actually Soren's raccoon. I don't think I had a raccoon in the dorms last year.
Okay, someone cooked it.
I think it was Soren's raccoon. I helped him cook
and
it.
I believe they deep fried it.
There was some deep fried. There was some just like.
I believe I had a deep fried.
It was. I mean, look. There's no beating around the bush here. It wasn't the best. It was. I mean.
Rubber.
Yeah, you could say that. It was. I don't know if it's as bad as Diver.
I don't know. I couldn't even chew my piece. It was terrible. I think it's awful.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset if it did make it into catfish bait tier. I think I've had coon besides just that incident where it was better than that, but I'm fine with it going in catfish bait for the sake of this.
I gotta put on catfish bait.
That's
that was
fine.
something
I'll
couldn't
accept
even,
it.
I couldn't
I think
even swallow. It was just rubber.
It has a lot more potential than that. We'll hopefully get you to see that sometime, but I definitely agree with you.
If
that
we kill
based
one
on
sometime,
that, it was
we can try this again.
catfish bait.
Snapping turtle, something I have not had either.
So yeah, I was camping and earlier this year, trout fishing, and this guy came up and ate our trout remains, and I went ahead and wrangled them up. Because I've heard great things about the meat. They say famously, as some of you may have heard, 7 meats on a snapping turtle, or something like that. Depending on where you go in the turtle's body, there's like some of the meat when I was, and you notice this when you're cleaning it, some of the meat is white meat, some of it's dark meat. It's very different in there. So it's almost hard to like give it a specific rating, because like turtle legs are better than, actually I'd say they're not better than like turtle neck. Overall, since I have to do that, honestly, it's up there. Like, it is good, and like it's sought after. It's an expensive meat if you try and buy it for a reason.
I think
I feel like we have too many animals already in those upper tiers, but I also feel like it would be a crime to not put it alongside, like,
you want it up here.
Alongside teal.
I don't know if I can make teal. There's not enough people that I know go after snapping turtle. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's true. We also live in Minnesota.
yeah.
If you have any southern viewers, I'm sure they'll tell you about an assortment of turtle delicacies that they've had or have heard about having. I'm fine with it making it into do not turn to jerky for the sake of the tier list, especially since you haven't had it.
Yeah. People in the comments,
Yeah.
I want you guys to talk about this. Let me know if it should have been moved up or down.
I think it should. I mean,
I
feel like I'm not doing it. I'm not standing up for it enough here. It was great, honestly.
Okay, but we'll put it. It's still above middle make poop, so it's in the good category. But I just don't know. I haven't had enough experience, so I want other people who have to please say. Compare it to the other things, not just by this is the only thing I eat, but compared to other things you've had. So, bear, black bear specifically. I haven't had this, but I've heard different things about the meat, and I've heard different things about the fat specifically.
Yeah.
So I heard that what people do is they render down the fat and use it for cooking, because bears, typically black bears, typically eat berries and stuff, and apparently makes their fat sweet.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've heard. I can't confirm it, can't deny it, but
yeah, bear fat is quite a commodity. I have had bear. I haven't had a ton of bear. I've really only had bear on, a handful of occasions, and it was always in sausage form, or like bear sticks, I feel like just because of that limited experience, it's hard to rank it all that high. But it was great. It was great for in the small quantities that I had it.
I don't know.
I think it's definitely either do not turn to jerky or it will make poop.
Okay. I think we'll put it under it will make poop.
Sure.
Maybe the fat wouldn't be up higher. The parts of it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But like I also heard you can get diseases from it if you don't cook it all the way.
They aren't the cleanest animals.
Yeah, so we'll just put it under there.
That's fair.
Once again,
yep.
If you guys want to comment and say we're wrong, go for it, and we can discuss this. Porcupine. This is the Romero special.
Yeah, I've eaten quite a bit of porcupine. A lot of meat on those guys.
Not the easiest to clean, I've heard.
No. Oh, they are terrible to clean. If anyone has any porcupine cleaning tips, let me know in the comments, because they are just a nightmare to deal with. Quills in the hands. Ooh. There's nothing to grab onto. I'll tell you right now, you should lower it below that. It's fine. Better than raccoon, I would say.
Okay. Coot level or goose level?
I'm gonna say coot level.
Coot level.
I think it could be done better than what I've only done very basic preparations with porcupine. I think it could be made a lot better than what I did with it. But in my experience, and I'm saying that because I've heard great things about porcupine meat, but in my experience, I think it's give it to your dog. Rabbit has a pretty high reputation, I would say. And it probably does deserve that, but in my experience eating rabbit, it just hasn't been phenomenal. Maybe there's a big difference between like domestic rabbit that's raised for food and the wild rabbits that I'm eating. Honestly, in my experience eating rabbit, you might be give it to your neighbor,
Okay,
And that maybe just says a lot about the types of rabbits that I'm eating.
Yep.
Maybe it deserves a lot better than that. As I feel like I'm gonna catch a lot of flack for having rabbit.
This is supposed to be controversial. This is on ours.
This is gonna be quite. I think that might be the most controversial one yet.
Yeah.
But honestly, the rabbit that I've had has just not been all that good, and I've eaten a substantial amount of it.
Well, next up on the list, duck.
That's up there.
It's up there. Yeah, I could go with that.
It's a very good meat. It might be do not share with your neighbor.
Okay, a lot of people. This is something you don't get a lot of meat off of them, but they're really good.
Yeah.
It's
very sought
It's
after.
a red meat.
Mm-hmm.
It's super good. You can cook it in multiple ways.
Uh-huh.
I can see it falling under with all these.
Yeah,
And
I think that's fair. I think teal is, it's fairly comparable, like a good teal.
yeah. So I don't know if it could be higher, could maybe be low. I don't know. I just, from my experience, it's been very good. Back to white meat. Pheasant. I recently, if you haven't seen the video, go to my video, North Dakota pheasant hunting. Killed a lot of these.
Got some great footage on there.
Great footage and some great eating. That's all I can say. When have you eaten pheasant, and what's your experience been like?
So I live in an area where it's a lot more open. There's a lot less trees. It's like pheasant country, and so my whole life growing up, pheasant has just been on the table at family gatherings along with deer. It's probably one of the most common game meats that is in that area, and I've eaten quite a bit of it. It sounds like the experience that you had eating pheasant was an above average experience. I would say pheasant is definitely a great meat.
Yep. So when I cooked it, I've had it in Alfredo.
Ooh,
It's like chicken Alfredo basically.
Yeah.
And we mix chicken in there, and I couldn't tell the difference between it. I couldn't tell the difference between the pieces, and I also fried it, and it tasted just like chicken. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal. If you fry a lot of things, it can be good, but a lot of them can be tough and stuff. But there was no toughness to it. I soaked it in buttermilk, which might have helped, but
yeah.
So, but from your experiences, I know like people who eat legs and stuff can say it's a little tough because
the legs aren't as good. There's a lot of tendon density
because they're fast. If you didn't know, pheasants can run faster than they can fly.
So I believe that.
I think we could put it under there. I could put it one higher, but from your experiences, would you be okay, or would you put it higher?
I think that's a fair place for it. Based on my experience. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I could put it one higher in my experiences, but you never know. I've also cooked
I think
different.
that's a good place.
So this is something I've had and you haven't.
I have not had moose.
Moose.
No.
This is I have a friend up in Canada that we fish with, and when we go on fishing trips, like to Winnipeg or something, he'll bring moose, and we either eaten moose burgers, moose sausage. He made moose pasta, moose hot dogs.
Sounds great.
It's actually really good. I really like moose, and you can get a lot of meat off of it. The hot dogs are delicious, and he had made these spicy meatball pasta out of them years ago. Oh boy, was that good! I could have ate that all day, and I haven't had like back strips or anything from them, but from what I've had, I think moose is absolutely phenomenal, and I think you can go up to don't share with your neighbor. I don't know if I put it quite at poachable yet, but it's well up there. It's well up there. This is next one is Romero's specialty.
Yeah, I would say of all the animals that I hunt and have hunted, squirrel is kind of my specialty. I've killed thousands of them, and therefore I have eaten many hundreds of squirrels, thousands of squirrels. I like to talk it up a lot when people ask how it is, because I think the expectation is that it's not going to be great, and in reality, it's a fine game meat. However, I'm not going to lie. It's not as good as teal. It's not as good as definitely not as good as snapping turtle. Probably not as good as pheasant, but we're starting to get a little closer there.
Yep.
I think it will make poop.
Okay.
I think it would be an injustice to have it lower than that.
Yep.
But I also feel like it would be a similar injustice to have it higher than that.
I've heard of squirrel being in a lot of stews, and
yeah,
people make like soup out of them and stuff.
It's very fine.
So, next on the list, turkey.
Turkey.
I have a love-hate relationship with turkey.
Yeah.
I haven't killed one in 3 years.
Oh man.
I've been very unlucky, and I don't know if I'd always consider it lucky or just I'm unskillful. I've gotten close, but I just can never close the deal. But the turkeys I have ate have been really good. I mean, it's what I was told when I was younger was turkey was bad and there was no good way to cook it. But the turkey I've had up here, we fried and it was, I mean, tasted like chicken.
It was phenomenal.
Like we had these little turkey nuggets. You had the same as me, and it was really good. So, me personally, I would put up here. Your thoughts?
I haven't turkey hunted as long as you have. I just got into it last spring, and I killed my turkey last spring. It was a very young, like immature but big-bodied jake.
Tender.
Very tender. Very tender. And then this fall, I killed a smaller-bodied, even more tender, even younger hen.
It was like the size of a crow.
I mean, I guess it honestly, it was young enough. It could have been like a jake. It was not the size of a crow, but it was. I mean, it was enough meat. Like each breast was, approximately a meal, and it was. I mean, both turkeys were phenomenal. I would say. The legs are a different story, but the breasts are. I think honestly, some of that game meat is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I mean it is.
I mean,
they farm raise them for a reason.
Yeah, I would honestly say like don't share with your neighbor. Pushing poachable. Pushing
borderline.
poachable.
I can go with that. 100%.
Yeah, I would. I think I would say it's better than grouse. It is. Okay, for me personally, of the don't share with your neighbor category, grouse is the best.
Because they're both white meats. Well, no, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
This grouse is white meat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I can see it either or.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being in do not share with your neighbor. I could also. I would also be quite happy with being in poachable.
This is another grouse. This is one I shot for the first time this year.
Sharpie.
Sharp-tailed grouse.
I've not had one.
I haven't had one until this year. When I shot it, I was like, well, I'm going to try to cook it. And so I cooked it alongside of the partridge. The thing with this grouse is it's a red meat. Okay. So you can cook it medium rare.
Really? Huh.
So I cooked it with the partridge, and I cooked it to medium rare. So it was like 127 I took it off at, let it sit. I gotta say it was the best meat wild game I've ever had. Tender, just melt in your mouth. There's no game to it.
Huh.
I don't know if it's just I seasoned it right. I did what? Like, I would be interested to try it again, see if I had the same experience. But I want to put this up here. I thought it was better than the partridge. I don't know if it's because it was a red meat. But it was just so juicy. It was, like, phenomenal. I would eat it again in a heartbeat. And the only reason I wasn't going to put partridge up here is because I thought it was better. But they are two different meats. One's white meat, one's red meat. But that sharp tail, that was absolutely delicious. I just fried it in a pan with some butter. And I don't know. I think it was better than some of the deer I've ate.
Wow.
And I want to go shoot another to try it again. But it was delicious. And I know they eat different stuff than your normal grouse, your rough grouse, because they are in a different area. I shot in an open field. It was open CRP field. And you can go see that clip actually in my YouTube video. It's the exact one in my hand. Made a great shot on it. Same as the pheasant video. So absolutely delicious. I want to go back in there and try to kill another one just to try it again. But that has got to be in the poachable category. Jokingly.
Wow.
This leaves me to my last one. It is something you haven't had.
I've not had pronghorn, no.
I had it years ago. I don't remember exactly where I got it from. It was a steak. I only ate a little bit when I was younger. From what I remember, it was like nothing crazy. It was good. I think you could put it under this, or it's kind of right in this line. I'll put it in this just because I don't remember exactly. And I'm sure it's similar to deer probably, but I know they're a little tougher just because of their big runners. They are, I think, one of the second fastest mammal.
I think that's what people like to say out there on the plains.
I know they can reach like 60 some miles an hour. The thing they got on a cheetah is if there was ever a cheetah in the plains chasing them, they have a lot more stamina.
There used to be, but not anymore.
in the U.S.?
Yeah, there's in that pool of history of animals where, you had woolly mammoths, woolly rhino. Yeah,
I don't
nothing
think they had
recent.
cheetahs back then.
There was a species of...
Someone please look this up.
That was very comparable. It's like it filled the same niche.
Confirm this.
It's true. You pull up the picture on the screen right now. You're looking at what used to roam the Great Plains of America, just like cheetahs roam the savannah in Africa. Okay. It's true. They filled the same niche. They hunted antelope. They are the reason that those antelope evolved to run as fast as they do.
Okay, well, someone fact check this, because I'm not sure on that.
You're gonna fact check it.
I'm not fact checking it.
When you're editing this.
I edit videos, not fact check.
Oh,
now you're gonna look dumb.
I'm just gonna look stupid, but it's true. I swear.
But if you guys have had antelope before, I don't know if you can back me up on this, but that's where I'm putting it. I feel like we got a pretty good distribution. I mean, we got a lot up here, but
I think
we might be the wild game fans. And
generally speaking, it seems like we are quite fond of wild game.
Yeah.
Looking at that,
which is fun. There's a few that are just like, try to not eat, but still fun to hunt, and you use the meat somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is if you guys had placed them any differently, please state your reason in the comments and back it up with information. And not just do it because you had it once, but just be reasonable with us. Don't just throw it out there because you love hunting it. No. Make a factual statement, please. That's what I care about. So, like I said, if this video gets 100 likes, set that bar real high. We're doing fish edition. And we'll have I have some good ones thrown in there.
Me too.
Oh, God.
Have you ever had gar?
I have not, no.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Okay. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And once again, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're just growing. Keep growing. Yeah. So if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Share it with a friend. Comment your favorite wild game down below. And this is the end of the video. So, as I normally do, out.